we've definitely seen people attempt to put facial expressions, for lack of a better word, into text for just as long as we've had typewriters. I mean, we can see very clearly that people started to use that colon parentheses sort of setup relatively early in the 20th century. So I don't think that is particularly new, because people want to get the idea of tone and friendliness across in text, and they wanted to get the idea of physicality and body expressions in there. So we started seeing emoticons come out. And in the beginning they were, again, due to technology, static. You know, it was like a smiley face or a heart or something like that. And they weren't colorful, right? It was the actual letters or punctuation marks or what have you. And people had to use their imagination somewhat to see it. And then I think as different programs became used to people doing that, it became automatic, where if you would put the little caret and the 3, it would automatically change it to a heart, you know, like with a color and stuff. And so people started using those a little bit more. And then in the last 10 years or so, they've started to have more motion to them. So you can have a face that actually smiles.
I got my iPhone when I was in high school, and they were like still pretty new. I just had like the new 3, and I got my emojis like right away because my friends all had iPhones, and I was like, I need to be a part of this. I had a flip phone. I had a Razor or something before my iPhone. I just think that they were like so much more fun than the regular texting. Like when I first started texting, everything was like broken up, and like you didn't type full words, and then somewhere between that we like started typing full sentences, and then after that emojis came, and everyone was like, let's talk in all emojis and use a few words and just do that. I think they're more fun texting because you can say something like I did something so stupid last night, and there's an emoji that just has like really wide eyes and is like embarrassed, so you put that at the end of the sentence. Or like I text my mom and say, love you so much, I'll talk to you later, with the emoji that has like a heart like kissing at the end. So it's just like a little bit extra personalized that you can put on a text. Everyone in my favorites, and I mean some also like random people in my contacts, have emojis next to them. My mom, I like call her like a queen, and so I have a crown next to her. My best friend has a cat, and one of them is like always super negative, so I put like the skull and crossbones by hers and just stuff like that. My roommate's a diva, so I put the little like diva that goes like that. So I put them everywhere for people.
Sometimes one of my friends will just sit there and put a bunch of them at the end. I was like, you don't need all those. Like, she'll just put all these different faces, and I'm like, you don't need to put that. Or like one with every text. I was like, okay, that's a little excessive. You don't have to do that. Like, they're just for fun, like to do. You know, not excessively, though. Don't do it with, like, people that you're trying to network with, or, like, professors that they give you their number, or don't do any of the professional thing. I don't think so, because they won't take you seriously if you use those in a professional way.
When you're talking about a distant communication, like texting through a cell phone, well, any kind of distant communication, when you are talking on a telephone, there is a channel that's cut off, which is the visual channel. And as a result, you'll find that many people who talk on the telephone will talk more animatedly than they do face-to-face. Primarily because there's a sense of loss of emotion, a loss of affect is what we call it. People try to fill up that lack of affect with, you know, a greater range of tonal qualities in their voice, things like that. If you go to texting, the channel for communication is cut down even further, just to alphabetic letters, basically. And those glyphs can carry emotion, but they don't necessarily carry emotion. Even though you might use these emojis to communicate, they still don't have the same kind of affective quality as a face-to-face communication does. It means that essentially the kinds of expressions that you can engage in are caricatures, quite literally. And if all the emotions that you can express are characterized emotions, then that means that you have kind of a limited palette to choose from, not much complexity.